If you're a fan of The Pitt, you'll love these equally emotional episodes of ER. The HBO Max medical drama became incredibly popular when it premiered in January 2025, introducing us to a brilliant new group of interns, students, nurses, and doctors who care deeply about their exhausting yet rewarding work. While Noah Weil has portrayed a few doctors, including a short Friends role, it's fun comparing his performances as John Carter on ER and Dr. Robbie on The Pitt. And since both shows feature well-crafted characters in a chaotic emergency room, there's no doubt that you'll become enthralled in the world of ER if you enjoyed Weil's more recent series. Going Home, Season 1, Episode 3. Before The Pitt's tough Dana Evans, Catherine LaNassa, there was Carol Hathaway, Juliana Margulies, the intelligent nurse running the emergency room at Cook County. Er's third episode isn't perfect, as Carol goes back to work after trying to take her own life, and there are a few off-color jokes about that. However, if we can get past that, we can focus on how this episode emphasizes the importance of the head nurse, as they make sure the hospital runs smoothly and provide support and motivation for staff members. It's also fun to compare these two characters and see some of Carol in Dana, as they're as wise as they are compassionate. Time of Death, Season 11, Episode 6. If there's one thing The Pitt is known for, it's heavy emotions, whether the doctors are mourning the loss of a child by drowning or helping a family whose son has measles. The ER Season 11 episode, Time of Death, will appeal to fans of the HBO Max series, as it's also about a challenging patient case. Ray Liotta gave an incredible performance as Charlie Metcalf, a man with cirrhosis because of his alcohol abuse. As the title suggests, there isn't a happy ending here. While the best ER episodes find a patient or doctor thinking about their mortality, this one taps into the anxiety and fear of realizing your time has actually come. Time of Death is also perfect for the Pitt fans as it takes place in real time and, therefore, mirrors the narrative structure of the newer show. This makes you feel as terrified and overwhelmed as the doctors trying to save Charlie. Day 1, Season 1, Episode 2. Sometimes the second episode of a TV show feels even more important than the pilot, as we want to know that the setting, main characters, and premise continue to impress. The second episode of ER is thankfully excellent because it explores the start of Carter's time at the hospital. Watching Carter assist someone having heart problems with a defibrillator is moving, as we can tell he's scared of making mistakes and intimidated by the more seasoned doctors. It's also fun and compelling to compare young Carter to jaded Dr. Robbie, who is also facing his own grief in The Pitt Season 1. At this point in the story, Carter is young and enthusiastic, and it's clear that he has the necessary talent, compassion, and resilience to be as successful as Robbie. Midnight, Season 10, Episode 21. Every The Pitt Season 1 episode is excellent, but since ER aired for 15 seasons, there are definitely a few filler episodes that aren't quite as interesting or impactful. However, Midnight is not an episode that you can easily forget. As Carter and his girlfriend Kem, Thandile Newton, learn they're going to lose their baby, you get a full picture of their close relationship, along with the anxiety and grief that they feel. It's a significant episode not only for their relationship but also for the show in general, as it proves ER touches on a lot of upsetting but powerful subjects that make viewers feel less alone. The Pitt is such a raw, gritty show because the characters talk about problems facing healthcare, from patients who don't have insurance to how nurses are treated. John Carter, MD, is another great pick for fans, as Carol decides she doesn't want to work at Cook County anymore because she doesn't think it's fair that people can't pay for treatment. This is an important part of Carol's arc, proving how caring and compassionate she is, and it mirrors Dana's storyline at the end of The Pitt Season 1, when she wonders if she should leave her job and move on after a traumatic event. On the Beach, Season 8, Episode 21. ER and The Pitt may have been released decades apart, but there are moments when they feel incredibly similar, especially when we consider how much the staff at each hospital cares about each other. That is especially apparent in this Season 8 episode when Mark Green, Anthony Edwards, dies after his cancer diagnosis. Dr. Green's choice to die in Hawaii instead of Chicago, and his devastating scenes with his daughter Rachel, Hallie Hirsch, have made this one of the most famous ER episodes. And watching the characters at his funeral emphasizes that they're a close-knit family, like Robbie, Dana, and their co-workers. Peace of Mind, Season 7, Episode 10. A doctor helping Dan Harris, Jim Belushi, on ER. ER and The Pitt stand out from other medical dramas because most of the cases are so heart-wrenching. The Pitt's most powerful episode is definitely 2 p.m., where Amber Phillips, Hadley Smith, arrives at the hospital after drowning and, unfortunately, passes away. The parent-a-child storyline of Er's Peace of Mind hits similar heavy notes, and Jim Belushi and Jared Padalecki do a great job exploring the emotions of their characters, Dan and Paul Harris, who get into a horrible car crash. It's a tough episode to watch, as you feel awful for Dan, who realizes he doesn't waste any time and wants a more peaceful relationship with his son. But this storyline is also a reminder of how perfectly captures the overwhelming idea of mortality for both doctors and patients. If you've shed more than a few tears watching The Pitt and want to see another memorable episode, Love's Labour Lost shares pregnant Jodie O'Brien's, Colleen Flynn, tragic journey, which is one of the storylines that fans still think and talk about. Dr. Robbie and his co-workers are so special because they admit they're not perfect and want to keep learning, and this Season 1 episode is as much about Dr. Green's professional and personal growth as it is about Jodie and her husband Sean, Bradley Whitford, facing the unimaginable. This episode also captures the immersive experience of watching The Pitt, as you see Dr. Green treat Jodie for what appears to be a UTI and hear all the details of her medical care. When it's over, you know more about her pregnancy, symptoms, and emotions than most patients on a similar show. The Storm, Parts 1 and 2, Season 5, Episodes 14 and 15. The horrible Pitfest shooting is the biggest and most memorable event in The Pitt Season 1, and this two-part episode will remind viewers of that tragedy. Both episodes share the terrifying experience when several viewers come into the at once as a result of a huge event, along with the chaos of trying to save everyone at once. As the doctors try to help several kids who are on a school bus when it crashes, the message of both dramas becomes clear. While medical professionals are, of course, skilled and talented and do their best, they're going to see more than a few people dying or in pain during a single shift, and not everyone can be saved.